What Football Manager 2024 skin is the best? The answer to that question may be different for every single person that plays Football Manager. But if you want to add a bit more depth to your save and add a lot more information into the match while you're playing the game and then see the opposition's tactics, look at the heat maps and formations of everyone that is actually playing, I'm going to share with you my top 5 skins for Football Manager and what makes them so special in this year's game. So let's look at the first skin that is on our list today, and that is the Zealand FM24 skin. You see, I had a lot of fun with this skin in previous Football Manager games, but I noticed that in FM 2024, there wasn't actually a Zealand FM24 skin. It was kind of ported into FM24 from previous Football Manager games. So that was a lot later into the gaming cycle when I noticed that the FM24 skin later came as a ported version, and this is quite intuitive because I like this skin, the fact that it's quite dim and the user interface is really easy to look at. The fonts were quite easy to read as well. You could also get details of the opposition that you're playing against right in the front screen. Like you can see here, you can see the tactics that they're currently using, and you can see who their players are, the top players. They are better passers. Most of the key assistants, you can see that Mikel Oyarzabal is one of the key players for Real Sociedad. You can also see your manager performance on the right, but where it really excels is in the player category. So I'm going to go ahead and just select one of my center backs here in Gonzalo Ignacio. You can see the player personality on the right. You can see that he's an elite center back when it comes to media description. You can see that he's a level-headed player. You can see all the player traits. They're all in there, all the player attributes, and then on his screen you can also switch to information about the player, see what he has as his other nationalities, if he can fit into your team. You can also see his contract, and another interesting one is you can change the player training just from his player attribute screen, just like this. You can switch him to play as a ball playing defender on defend duty instead of the cover duty, but I'm just going to leave it on cover for now. So you can do that all on his attribute screen without having to leave and go somewhere else. The Zealand skin was quite good like that. Another interesting part was the tactics screen. The Zealand skin actually kept the tactics on the left hand side. I've seen some other skins that have the tactics board so big and then the team instructions is right at the bottom. I wasn't really comfortable with that, so I kind of like the way this one is, and it sticks to the previous Football Manager games. It's kind of very similar. And if you've been using Zealand FM skin from before, you're going to just fit right into this one. Next is the WTCS Gold. I think it's created by Walk the Space and TCS Gold skin creators. I use this skin a lot while managing at East 5 in the Scottish lower leagues. It does present a lot of information for you and also allows you to make changes to the players directly in the attribute screen, just like the Zealand FM skin. You can also see their strengths and weaknesses. It's a proper skin to use because it did give me a lot of success at the time, but the one problem I had with this skin was the fact that the tactics screen was quite big. I did talk about this a lot earlier, but it's a personal preference for me that I want my team instructions to be on the left rather than at the bottom. I'm not fully adjusted to having it right down there, so except for that, the skin is pretty cool, and it also has this dark theme with a gold strip, and it kind of gives you that retro vibe to Football Manager 2024. Similar to the WTCS Gold skin is the SAS 24, which is arguably one of the best Football Manager skins out there based on community votes. I learned a lot about this skin from RDF Tactics, and I used it a lot in my FM23 save that I transferred into FM 2024, which I play with Atletico Madrid. Where this skin actually thrives is in scouting players, where you tend to have a bit more information on the players that can actually help you decide if they fit into your team and into your style of play. We've seen that in similar skins, so in case you like this kind of stuff, you will enjoy it in the SAS 24 skin as well. This skin also has that neon vibe, even though it's not really that vibrant for you to like notice that it's neon, but for me the colors are a bit strong and it really did stand out from the background. That was one of the reasons why I kind of changed the skin, because I didn't really like how the colors were shouting. I'm one of those people that prefer a less vibrant Football Manager screen, and if the colors are too bright or it's screaming at me, it makes it challenging for me to look at the screen for a very long time. So I found myself playing less and less of the game while I was using this skin. It has nothing to do with the skin itself. It's actually a very good skin and it will give you a lot more to work with. For Moneyball gamers, we have the Musterman iconic skin. I'm just going to go ahead and select the dark version, but the skin also has an attribute less version in case you want to feel like a pot-bellied Football Manager for real. You can go ahead and jump into that one. The color of the Musterman skin is where it really shines. The game looks very calm. You can see how the color, you can see even the font looks very dim. Everything just looks really quiet inside of Football Manager. Nothing's really standing out and shouting at you. It's why I really love this skin. The downside for me was where if you go back to the tactics screen there, you can see that the instructions are all the way at the bottom. Like I said, I did not like, but to be honest with you, it's the one skin that could have this and I'll still go ahead and use it. The font is quite good. Everything looks polished. Everything looks clean. And if I go ahead and select a player like this, I'm just going to go ahead and pick one, and then you can see that you have the player attributes. Instead of just attributes, we have them as stats. So in case you're playing a Moneyball save or you're obsessed about stats, you can go ahead and sign players based on what they really know how to do. So in case you're looking for players that have good dribbling, players that have high expected assist, players that also are very good in progressing passes, those kind of key players, you can see all of that straight ahead from the Masterman skin, looking at the player's attributes. Down below, you can see the player's ability. So it's really realistic. You can see that the player is struggling with composure in the final third, but his movement is quite great. And you can scroll down and see all of the attributes as well. It's showing you in possession, physical, everything is just split into the player's ability as a whole. So it kind of makes Football Manager look completely different from what you're used to. So in case you want to play Football Manager this way, this is one of those iconic skins that you want to go ahead and use. Ask anybody in the community. They will tell you this is probably one of the best Football Manager skins out there, especially for Moneyball saves. The data hub in this game looks completely different from what you're used to in Football Manager. You can see a complete summary, and then you can obviously go ahead and ask your assistant manager to give you something that you want to look at. Go ahead and select the team's general performance. You can see that we scored 2 goals per game, and then we're conceding only 0.67. But altogether, it's an amazing skin that you're going to want to use. Even the competition tab looks really clean, really nice. It's currently red because I think I'm managing Atletico Madrid, so that's just how it looks. But I have to warn you, this is not a skin for newer gamers in Football Manager. I have to be honest with you on that one. You may find it very intimidating at first, but over time you're going to just get used to it, and you come to appreciate its value and why the community ranks it as one of the very best skins out there, especially for Moneyball saves. And finally, my favorite Football Manager 2024 skin is the Tato 24 skin. I've been using this skin since as far back as I can remember, and to be honest, it's very clean on the eye and it's easy to actually look at. The font really, I think the font really stands out for me because it's not the regular Football Manager fonts that we're used to. Right in the home screen here, you can see that we have the next opponent and a little information about them, their expected style of play. It also have the data hub information right in the home screen, so you can see who their key players are and all this sort of opposition analysis and everything that you might need. You can also go back to the previous match and see how the game went on, what you could actually learn from it. You can see assistant manager reports on the current team that you're managing. All your strengths and weaknesses are all here in the first home screen, and you can just find it just by looking at this. And the player attributes actually are interesting as well. So if I go ahead and select one player, you can see that over here you can go over, you can switch from the attributes and go over to the reports, see his strengths and weaknesses. You can also see the transfer interest for the player. You can look at his current contract and all those other kind of stuff. I didn't really think that much about this other aspect of the game. Is quite really good because the font is small enough. It allows us to fit a lot of things into the game, and currently I'm using the 85% ratio. In case you don't know what that means, let me just head over to the preferences, and here you can see that the text and images are zoomed out at 85% ratio. So that's kind of how I like it. You tend to see a lot in a very small space, and because the font is so neat, it's very readable, is why I like this. The match screen is also very entertaining. You get a lot of information. You can see the stats, you can see how your team performs, see where all the shots went to, you can see the heat map of the teams and how they went on to perform. You can see the opposition's tactics, the one that you're using, and you can see the one for your opposition. And this is just like halftime screen or full-time screen. Inside the match, it gets very informative. You can look on the left hand side, you can see your match stats and everything, and match information of how the game is going. You can still drag it up and down if you want and then make changes to it. And on the right hand side, you can see the opposition's tactics, just like you're having it in game, so you don't really have to worry what tactic the opposition is using. And if they go ahead and change their tactics, you're going to see it happen here on the right hand side of your screen. You can see your own team's tactics, and often you might notice that sometimes it's going to show you the same tactics. So all you have to do is just go back here and then switch to the other formation, and then like you can see, I can see both. So in case it happens like this, just go ahead and choose the home team or away team's tactics to have it look to have it show in the correct format. So I've been getting questions about this skin and which skin I'm using in Football Manager. This is my current skin, the FM24 Tato skin. So I'm going to attach a link in the description so you can get the skin for yourself and try it out and see how it is. I've had a lot of fun with it. I hope you also have a lot of fun too. So those are the 5 skins that I've gone on to use in this year's game, and each of them have their own memories, to be honest. If you did enjoy this video, do well to leave a like on it and also share it with somebody who may be looking for interesting skins that they want to try out on Football Manager. Let me know what your favorite skins are. For now, I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy your Football Manager.